joined now, as always, by head coach Matt Jeter. Coach, coming off a big 29-21 win over Nebraska Wesleyan, keeps you undefeated in conference play. Another big performance by our guys on the ground, both running the ball offensively and stopping the ball defensively. What was your assessment of the way your team played on Saturday?
Great job. I think anytime you go on the road and beat there's a quality opponent, Nebraska Wesleyan, we beat undefeated. They were getting some votes for American Football Conference Association top 25. So we'll go there to beat those guys was a great job by our men. To run the ball like we did, Joe Meyer had over 200 yards rushing, and we did a good job stopping the run again. This is the third week in a row as defense. We did a great job of stopping the run and making those guys one-dimensional, which for those guys, that's probably what they wanted to be with that quarterback. He's a pretty good quarterback for him. He's able to make some plays for him. But again, our guys fought like crazy and ended up pulling out the win 29-21.
And for the second week in a row, you held an opponent under 100 yards rushing. You have to be pretty happy with the way that your defense is really stepping up, especially over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. No, I'm fired up. The last 3 weeks has been a different defense. And I think we talked about shoring up the edge of our defense. We tackle better. And, again, that leads us to keeping opponents under 100 yards rushing. And that keeps us in the game.
We know injuries are a part of the game, and they're going to happen, and we've been a little banged up in some spots throughout the year, notably on Saturday. Your starting quarterback, Tanner Krieger, had to leave the game, but you didn't lose a lot. Your backup, Seth Howard, comes in, rushes for almost 100 yards on his own.
Yeah.
Talk about kind of that next man up mentality that you guys have.
Yep, that's always been our mentality, next man up. So we expect who's ever in the game, that we expect you to perform at a high level, as if you're the starting quarterback or the starting running back, or whatever position that is. And Seth came in on a 3rd and 18 situation, came in, rushed for 54 yards. We ended up punching in and going in and scoring the next on that series there to extend our lead. So happy for that kid. Practiced his tail off, ended up coming in and doing a great job for us.
Team showed a lot of wherewithal, I think, in that game. We talked about leading up to it. Nebraska Wesleyan was maybe not a team that was picked to do as well in the conference going in, but they started out undefeated. They were coming off a bye week. It was their homecoming. We got ahead early again. Nebraska Wesleyan made a little run at the end, but your guys pulled through, and they're starting to learn how to win these close games. You have to be happy with that.
Yeah, no, I'm excited about that. I think anytime we play Nebraska Wesleyan, since the time I've been here, it's always been a one-score game. Mm-hmm. So I prepared the guys for that going into the game, and it's 23-21 with 3 or 4 minutes left, and we end up punching the score in there late to go 29-21 and win the game. But yeah, there's a lot of grit and resolve in our team right now, and no matter the situation, if offense gives up a play right now, defense comes in and makes a play. If defense gives up a score, offense goes in and responds right away. So right now we got a great balance with that. And then our special teams kept us in the game early with Kreider kicking 3 field goals. We didn't put those touchdowns on in the red zone. So that kept us in the game early until we was able to punch that touchdown right before half.
You talk about Kreider. He's leading the conference right now with 7 made field goals. He's a great story. But you're at the halfway point of the season right now. Kind of take stock on your team a little bit. You're sitting at 4-1, one loss being to a top 10 nationally ranked team in Bethel at the beginning of the year. But are there things that you've learned about your team in the first 5 games that maybe you didn't know in that week 1 game against Bethel?
Yeah, I think the Bethel game was probably, in hindsight, probably the best thing that could happen to us at that time. And I think each week our team has grown and grown stronger. And I think right now we're at a good place. I think if I tell you we'll be undefeated in the conference in 4-1, I think we'll be happy with that right now where we're at. And for us and our staff, there's still work to be done. And I think we could still make some improvements, even get better over the last stretch of the season.
When you talk about this would be a good week to maybe make some of those improvements, maybe heal up a little bit. You've got a bye week right in the middle of the season. Yeah. I imagine that's a pretty good spot to have that bye week, but what does the schedule look like for your team this week? Yeah,
we've practiced Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of this week, just half shell all week there, but guys that have bumps and bruises, those guys are getting treatments 24/7 right now. We're trying to get those guys get ready to get back for the Wartburg game next week, so those guys haven't been a lot of practice with those guys, but we've been able to just get back to the fundamentals, blocking, tackling, coverages, base runs, all the foundation runs and passes of our offense and foundation defensive calls right now. So we haven't put a whole lot of stuff in right now. Our stock has been invested in Simpson's football right now and getting better right now.
And on the horizon, a big week next week with homecoming, and you've got Wartburg coming to town. How much are you looking ahead to that meeting with a potentially undefeated Wartburg squad could be a battle for first place in the conference. How much do you guys look ahead to that, or is that next week's business?
That's next week's business. Right now, like I said, our business has been focused on Simpson Storm right now, and come Sunday at 3 o'clock, we'll flip the switch and get ready for Wartburg.
All right, Coach, enjoy the rest of the bye week and enjoy being 3-0 in the league.
All right, thank you.
No game this week. We'll catch up with you next time when we preview the Wartburg game here on Storm Football Weekly.
I thought you